Approve the treasurer's report and approve the minutes in November 5th regular council meeting.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Mike Sisson,
I'll second.
Troy Brown seconds.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Thank you. It is now time for the public forum. If somebody wants to address something that is not on the council agenda, now is the time and the place. Please ask you to come up to the table, please.
Okay.
We'll even give you a seat. We don't charge extra.
Okay. We are here representing our neighborhood. We have a property there, 1314 on 8th Avenue. They've lived there since 2017, and over the years it has just continued to get worse. I have talked to Chief DeMode several times, and we're to the point now. I have brought a packet that is for you guys to look at. It has pictures. It has the citizens nuisance thing I printed out and highlighted where he falls underneath it. So I'd just like you to take into consideration. I did have an appraiser come appraise my house, just verbally, and she said with him living next to me, I'd lose $20,000. I do not have that in writing, and we are a little concerned about our welfare when you talk to him. So, any questions?
And this has been going on since she's moved in, correct?
2017, yes. Yep. At one time, he had 5 vehicles in the privacy fence in his house. And I don't know if the EPA stepped in then, but they had to move him all out. He had 19 in his driveway the other day. He has 5 parked in the street. Some of them aren't licensed. The 5 in his driveway he brought home 3 weeks ago, all in one day. I have no place to park in front of my house. There's been just several issues that we've gone through, and most of it is stated in that package. So please help us.
We are well aware of that issue. The chief has been trying to, that's it.
And I would say the nuisance and abatement, I haven't had time to go over that she turned in. I don't know if that's one, if you remember when Skid was doing some stuff, we passed a nuisance and abatement ordinance for them, and then after they stopped doing stuff, we rescinded that. So I have to look at it and see if this is one that was still, is everything up to date?
That looks like it's from online, so it should be up to date.
It would be up to date, so I'll check and make sure that that's not an old nuisance and abatement one, or if it's up to date one. Danny says it's up to date. I haven't had a whole lot of time to look at it today, so.
The chief and the council are actively pursuing what we can do legally in his rights, and they all have rights, sorry to say, but so is the neighbors.
I would say any of the photos taken over the fence would not be admissible in a court of law.
Okay, even though I was on my own property.
You're infringing upon his privacy. I would think, is that, I don't know if Rod can hear me, would that be your opinion, legal opinion, taking pictures over the fence would be an infringement on someone's privacy?
Yeah, I don't think you dare do that. I mean, if you're gonna put them in court, you can't encroach over their top of their fence and take pictures. I know one of the county board members was doing that, but you really can't be doing that.
Okay, there's several other pictures.
Yeah, we can still address that.
At one time when he moved in, there was like 5 vehicles in the backyard, in the privacy fence, and you could see all of them from my deck. I mean, it was right there. And I don't know if they got a hold of the EPA and somebody made them move them out because they don't start, of the oil and the residue from the vehicles going into the ground. So he moved them all out, and now he has 5 more back in there, so.
He's got them outside the fence, he's got boats and vehicles in there on the streets and,
Yeah, there's two in front of his house, and he's made an extra driveway. He has 3 driveways. He has one in the grass. And it states in the comments that you're not supposed to drive over the curb. So he can move one of the vehicles out of the driveway and get out that way. So he wouldn't be infringing that way on the curb. But the 2 in front of his house, and then if you go west across the alley, there's 2 there. And then there's one that parks in front of my house. If he would pull down 5 feet farther, I could get a vehicle in front of my house. And Kathy could still get one in front of hers. But I can't, right now, get one in front of mine, just into my driveway. And is there anything on, you're supposed to park 5 feet back from somebody's driveway?
You're supposed to be 5 feet from a driveway.
Well, he's
From the
he's on the
radius.
edge of mine right now,
Okay.
yes. So.
sorry to say, I wish that was the only property in town that we
Yes,
have
I know.
addressed. But we are looking at others also.
Okay. I would just like to know that when you address him, that you let me know so I can address the neighborhood
We can do that, Cindy.
to watch out.
Be glad to. Mary?
She's here representing her neighborhood, which is my neighborhood, and I'm ashamed that she had to come up here and beg us for help in person after begging us for help for so long. There's the $20,000 loss in property value, there's that. But a person is also entitled to the quiet enjoyment of their own property. And I realize this is a volatile situation. But we have to be here for her. We're gonna have to do our job and get this taken care of. This has been how long? How long since you first approached the first one of us? Better than a year.
Oh, yeah,
Better than a year.
year and a half
That's
to 2
been over a
years.
year.
Yeah,
And you've been around a long time.
I would tell you, be prepared immediately then. I'm not gonna call you, you better call the neighbors and tell them they better be ready. Okay?
I have a security system on my house. I have nothing outside. So,
Okay, if you
Yeah,
wanted
if
to
I
be
go-
notified, I would tell you,
Now.
you just, I'm not saying it as a threat, I'm just saying, be ready.
yeah, I could walk out my back door and he could shoot me. I mean, that's just the way he is. I heard him in the driveway, walking up and down. I was sitting watching TV, and he was just screaming. So I went to the door and looked, and he was on his cell phone, and he was talking to somebody, and he was really upset, but he was just pacing and just screaming, so.
I think we as a police department are very much aware of this individual and the way he responds and what he does. And so, all I'm telling you is if you wanted notice ahead of time, I'm just telling you,
So what does he have to do to get the police to arrest him for doing something to a neighbor?
well, you're gonna have to tell me
What he does?
what that is. If he punches you, then that's
It's too late then.
That's a third-degree assault and probably a misdemeanor not committed in our presence. So just a citation would be issued.
What about threats made?
About threats?
What about threats made?
Well, then a citation would be issued and a report sent to the attorney to determine what charges, if any, could be filed. And misdemeanors, police cannot make an arrest other than domestic assault situations. So if we go down to a bar fight, and someone's been in a bar fight, and we did not witness a misdemeanor, we can issue citations. We just don't haul off and take people to jail on misdemeanors. So it's a misdemeanor committed not in the president's officer's sight, so we can't take people to jail. If it would be someone used a pipe wrench and hit somebody, and we're able to obtain statements, well, that's moved, then they have an instrument that's moved up. So to answer your question, I would just have to see what it is what he's doing to the neighborhood.
if I'm still alive.
Well,
She's not being dramatic.
Cindy, I want to thank you for this. I think you put a lot of work in, and this will be very helpful to us, and we're going to review it and see what we can do moving forward to
Well, thank you.
help the neighborhood out.
I worked at BD. I'm not a secretary, so what I put there, I did it in the best of my mind. Thank you so much.
We'll do our best to help you out. We'll get something going on this.
Randy?
Dennis, can they run a salvage yard in a residential neighborhood?
well, probably not a salvage yard. Can a person have a business, run a business out of it, as long as they don't have other employees, is my understanding? They can probably run a business out of their home. A salvage yard,
I mean, can you
know about
scrap
a salvage
vehicles
yard.
out in a residential neighborhood?
You
Well,
can,
you-
but in a timely fashion.
And
He's
it
not
can't,
timely.
it can't be done on the street. If you work on your vehicle on the property, you can't, nobody's supposed to be able to like change your oil in the street or anything like that, or scrap a vehicle out in the street. Can they do it on their private property? I would say they probably can, but I will double check and get back to you on that.
I thought we have ordinances on what's permitted, businesses that are permitted in residential neighborhoods.
Well, if, we have another guy who's worked on cars. Now, what he's specifically doing, is he working on people's vehicles and getting them back to him? Is he working them and selling them? That has been addressed too and checked, and I've even called the state on that. So it depends what he's doing. If he's working on somebody's car and then he brings it in, works on it, and they come get it, or he hauls it back to him, he could probably do that.
I don't know if that's
That's
even
not what's
permitted
going
in
on
city
over there.
code.
We will look into, see what we can do legally for the neighbors. We've got our work cut out. The police have been working on that for some time. He has some rights, neighbors have rights. We want to clean that property up. When I hear people on the west side of town talking about this property on 8th Street, I know exactly where they're talking about. It's not just affecting the neighbors, it's affecting our town.
Yes. Can I ask, how long can he have vehicles parked on his driveway without plates on them?
Well, I would say the same thing, it would be 30 days, probably a minimum, because if a person buys a vehicle, it would be the same thing, you have 30 days to license them. Whether that's addressed in the city ordinance, I don't believe it is, but we would have to accommodate them the same amount as if they parked it on the street. In other words, if you purchased it, it's not licensed, it's parked on the street, that's a violation of the law too, but you
Well,
have
there is one
30
right
days.
there now that is being driven and no plates on it.
Right, but and what I'm saying is people have 30 days
Yes.
to license and do it.
So if you have a trailer and you have a vehicle sitting on a trailer, does that vehicle have to be licensed?
No.
And then, I was told that if they're in the driveway, they didn't have to be licensed within 30 days, but they do have to be.
I would, to give them the same, any person who buys a car and pulls it into
Yeah.
their driveway, then if they don't have plates, can I go issue them a ticket? I don't think that would hold up in court, because the judge would say, well, they just purchased the vehicle, or if they just purchased the vehicle. So I think we would have to accommodate and give them 30 days, just like we would anyone else who just purchases a vehicle, whether they park it on the street or they park it in.
So if we would take a picture of these vehicles being brought in, and on our phone it has the date, and if they were parked there over 30 days, and we brought the picture to you, would you address that issue?
Yeah.
Have they been moved? Do you know that,
Well, if
the
they're-
picture, had they moved them sometime, did they?
But if they're not licensed and they're on the driveway and haven't been moved,
I
Yeah,
think the point she's making is they still haven't been moved within, or if they're still not licensed, I would
Yeah.
say we can address it.
One of his pickups has a bar on it, and right where the thing comes down to say the year, it's bent down, and then he pulls it up, backs it up close enough to another vehicle that you
Can't
cannot
tell.
see that it's expired, so
To
there's,
the west of the,
he knows all the angles. Thank you, guys.
We're working on it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
there you go.
Shanna, do you have anything to add? Anything you want to add?
No, I was just in agreement with everything. The only thing is that, like I told, well, I believe I told you also, that as long as that junkyard is there, I am going to oppose my taxes being raised every time. Because it's unreal.
Yeah. Shouldn't have to live with that and put up with it.
No, no. So,
Or live in fear of retaliation?
yeah, because he was throwing out clothes, he must have got mad at Tiger, the daughter. He was throwing clothes out the front door when we left to come down here tonight. So,
And she's the youngest one, and in my understanding, she belongs to both of them. They have 9 children in between them, and there's been 2 girls living there, and I think the one's going to school. I don't know about the other one, so it's just a turnover mess is what it is, so,
Compounded issue.
yes.
Thank you very much for coming up. and-
thank you for listening.
Item 3, consider renewal options for the 2020 City of Hope Ridge Health Easy Health Insurance Plan. Welcome back.
Thank you. All right. So the last time I was here, we went through the entire sort of the history of where we've been and where we're at today. I spent the last 2 weeks just kind of monitoring November's claims to see if we're still tracking in the same direction. And it appears that we've got claims that we're expecting, and then we'll finish the year out, I think, a little ahead of my expectations in my original report. I won't have a real accurate account for what our total surplus is at the end of the year until we get past December 31st, and then even into the month of February or March before we really get a full accounting of all the run-out claims. But I feel pretty good enough to make the recommendation tonight that we renew with option 2, which increases our stop-loss deductible, which is the retention at which we accept the risk out of our claims bucket, our claims liability, which lowers our premium and our insurance and admin cost, and then just increases our claims liability for a total renewal action of just under 3.5%. With that recommendation, there is an ongoing claim concern that I'm watching that does have some potential higher risk. Could have an impact on our surplus reserve. So I'm just watching that as we go through the course of the next year. So.
That claims won't affect this premium
Not that
or the
nope.
increase?
Nope. Nope.
Probably affect. I think we'll probably have several claims at this time, or is it just one big one?
There's one particular I'm watching, and then there's another one that could potentially be coming through. But as we look at our total, our past claims experience, I think it blends in. We limit our risk on any one particular claim to that 70,000, so it blends in with the rest of those claims, just like we did the last 2 years.
So option 2 with a 3.43% increase?
Yep.
Wake me up, am I dreaming? You ought to be commended. That's great. Any questions for Jason?
I appreciate all the work he's done to keep our costs as low as you have. With the healthcare industry, that's kind of tough to do. You don't have a crystal ball on
It's very tough.
what the future holds, so you've done a great job for us.
We've been
Really
fortunate,
appreciate it.
we've been fortunate, for sure.
That, I'd make a motion, we go with option 2 for the healthcare plan.
I'll second that.
McDermott seconds.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming back.
Well, I'm staying in Lincoln.
Hey, halfway.
Drive safe.
Item 4, approve Tyler Pettibone as a new member of the fire department. I think we all have a little synopsis. He works out of Beaver City, Kaufman Traders, living here in town. His dad is also a member of the fire department. I'm reading the other one.
I know.
Pettibone, Tyler Pettibone, becomes recommended to us. I should have his.
They're on the same page.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Tyler lives at Garfield Street, Murray. Motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Ben Johnson seconds.
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 5, approve Daniel Heinen as a new member of the fire department. Charlie is, his dad is a member of the fire department. Daniel lives up on 11th Avenue, employed by Ag Valley in Edison. Might be a little hard for them to respond, but we need them whenever they're
Always the
in town.
nights.
I'll make the
Motion to
motion.
approve.
Second.
Who made the motion?
Ben.
Ben and Jason, second.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Item 6, approve Phelps County Development Corporation's purchase of 19 workforce housing lots in Krug subdivision. Whenever PCDC buys any property, LB 840 funds, it needs to be approved by the city council
Or cells.
or sells. So welcome back.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city administration. I'm Ron Tillery with the Phelps County Development Corporation. I'm here to answer questions. I think you have both the contract in your packet, and I believe Acting City Administrator Dane Jensen distributed a memo to you that details the rationale behind our request to approve this purchase. This will provide us with, in the end, very low-cost lots that we can use to incentivize contractors to build workforce housing in this subdivision. We anticipate that Messner will build out 20 duplex rental units in 2020, and also 6 what we refer to, probably improperly according to Kim Parsons, as townhouse units. They're essentially duplexes that will be for sale. 6 of those will be completed in 2020. These 19 lots we're hoping to have completed at the same time that all of the other infrastructure is done, so that we can accelerate the build out of those, of dwellings on those 19 lots. We'll be using LB 840 funds to back a borrowing from local banks. The lots will be used as collateral, and as those lots are sold, we'll repay the loan. So we have the capacity to carry this debt and not affect our ability to, not materially affect the reserves that we have that could be used for other projects that we have, may or may not have in front of us.
A concern for the council, and it's addressed there. Seller is selling the lots described above as fully developed lots with paving, drainage, and all infrastructure included. The closing date's going to be on June 30th, 2020.
Or thereabouts. Could come
No.
sooner.
So everything should be, that the council was concerned about the infrastructure, that should be all complete.
We're buying fully developed lots.
This way the rest of the one street will get paved quicker than what we were thinking.
Both phase 1, phase 2 be done at the same time.
Yeah.
And they've got everything staked out. There's water and sewer and storm sewer pipe on site. I haven't been out there today or yesterday, but over the weekend, looked like they were getting ready to lay all the
Yeah, I see they have
infrastructure.
materials.
Yeah.
They got excavators going today.
Ron, does this include the 3 lots on the north end on East Street? Remember when
The
they're-
3 lots that face onto East Street?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And so when infrastructure for East Street is assessed to the adjoining lots, that will be our responsibility. But what we'll probably do is spread that assessment over all 19 lots so that we can hold the price down on everything.
Okay. Any questions from the council? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Aldrich? McDermott seconds.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
We're going to build some houses.
Good deal.
I have a hammer I'm not using. Need it?
We are happy that you work.
Good luck. My wife likes to see me put to work. Consider ordinance 2434 amending the Holdridge Municipal Code 2-210E and clarifying the powers and duties of the community redevelopment area. This is...
Mayor, Diet would like to be heard.
Sure. We're all ears.
You're all ears.
I go right through.
I'm Diet Bailey, Chairman of the Community Redevelopment Authority, and received this email yesterday about this ordinance, and so I sent it out to all of my board members. Really, it's just basically the way that things are being done right now.
Exactly.
It's just saying that the council wants to approve all the projects that do come through the CRA. I gotta put my glasses on, sorry here. One of the concerns I have is, I know Rod has talked with more of an expertise on tax increment financing and CRAs and whatever. Rod has talked to Tom down in Lincoln at Klein Williams, and where the city can have a 10% administrative fee to people that are asking for TIF financing. And so I asked Rod, I says, where is this 10% going? And he says it's going into the city general fund to help recoup expenses, okay? And the CRA, we've conducted a couple different workshops, and some of you have attended. You know, we're trying to learn how we can do more for the city, you know, for the community with tax increment financing, you know, and as a CRA. And there are things that we can do more, but we gotta learn more. And so I know that CRA can capture some funds of tax increment financing when somebody comes to us and says, you know, we want this much. Well, you don't have to say yes, you get 100% of what you're asking for. You can say, we have this 10% administrative fee and 5% is gonna go to the CRA, so we can build up some funds for future projects. Future projects could include helping in infrastructure, I look at this project that you were just talking about, these lots out there, and there's one street out there that needs to be paved. Well, if we had funds built up in tax increment financing with the CRA, we could help pave that, because it can be used for infrastructure and different things like that. It's things that we need to learn, but I don't want, and I talked to Rod earlier, I don't want this ordinance to inhibit what we want to learn and different things that we want to do. I don't think it's going to. I said, you know, can that 10%, can 5% go to the city and 5% go to the CRA? You know, it's some different things that we have to learn. But I want you to know that the CRA is looking at trying to be more proactive and not just reactive on when people come to us with projects. So, you know, maybe we'll have the ability someday. We've had a couple workshops. Rod went down and talked to Tom at Klein Williams, and I asked Rod, would he be willing to come talk to the CRA? And he thinks maybe for a fee. I know the CRA has a budget that is a line item on the city, okay? Is that money available to bring somebody in to help us, you know, to answer questions for us? I also talked to Rod about, you know, Rod's been our legal counsel as well as yours for many years, but is there going to be a time where we need to bring in more specialized counsel so we make sure that, you know, all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed? And Rod says, you know, if we think we need to, then we will. So I just want you to know that there's nothing wrong with this ordinance, but if at some time it needs to be changed because we've found that we can do some different things, we want to be partners with the council. I mean, that's what we need to be, working with PCDC and the Housing Authority, and we just, you know, do good things, you know, to make Holdridge grow. We have a couple projects that might be on our agenda that we're going to be, Dana suggested that we schedule a regular meeting rather than just meet when a project comes to us. So that's something that we're going to talk about at our next meeting, which is going to be on December 2nd. So we're going to try to hold a regular monthly meeting. And we want to talk more about our budget and different things, just so we're more, like I say, proactive and reactive. Are there any questions from the council? I mean, when I got this email yesterday, it's like, okay, so I just sent it out to all the board. I didn't know this was coming up, but I understand the council's position. You know, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's too. Any?
I think the reason we were bringing up this ordinance is just to clean up the way we've been up. We've done 26 projects, and most of them with the help of the CRA. I think all of them CRA. Appreciate that, but we just need to put in writing. Just
I don't think there is anything, is there, Doug?
Here that
Prior
the
to
city
this?
council still
Yeah.
has the final approval.
Yeah, but is there anything in writing prior to this?
That what?
In writing, is there anything in writing that the city council does have prior approval? Or final approval? I don't know if there is anything in writing. But this would take care of that, yes.
There's nothing in writing, it's been our practice and procedure.
Yeah, it's just been
For
handshake.
24 years, and so we've in effect codified that verbally, but when I talked to Tom Houston, that was one of the items that, you know, he said there's no problem doing it that way, but you'd be better off to codify it, and so I talked to him about that and many other things about with the CRA, and the law says that the CRA has to give a 30-day notice, and I've always been doing that to the city council. And so that there's a reason that the city council's been getting that notice, and that's because they had the right to approve or disapprove it. We've never disapproved any yet, but that could come. So there's nothing in the law saying that we absolutely have that right. There's nothing that says we don't. But our practice and procedure says we do. The state law says that they have to give you 30-day notice. So there's no problem in what we've been doing. It's just this cleans it up.
Is that what this, I mean, as you as a city council, is that what you want, is to give a final approval on any projects that we pass?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely. The final power has to be with the elected officials that answer the voters. We just want to clarify.
Yep.
Just what we've got it in black and white, so there's no gray area.
I totally agree.
It's kind of what we're
Yeah.
looking at, I think, here, so.
Mhm. Any questions or anything? Any guidance
Thank you for your passion. Thank you for
you want to give me?
what you want to do. And
There is a Nebraska Economic Development Association guidebook on TIF out there, and it has some specific cities listed for examples, and they actually list out very cleanly all the requirements, and it's basically a roadmap. It'd be really nice for holders to have that too. And I don't know if that's best with us or with the CRA or if that's a partnership, but it'd be nice to look into doing something like that and having it posted right on the city website.
And Jason, that's with,
I found it through the city of Ord, but it was published by the Nebraska Economic Development Authority, I believe.
okay?
We have that. Okay, so,
It's what we follow.
Mhm.
yeah, good information.
That's basically all I have.
Keep up the good work, Yep.
Thanks, Jeff.
Dane?
First reading, ordinance 2434, an ordinance of the city of Holdridge, Nebraska, amending Holdridge Code, section 10-210E, providing for the severability of all parts hereof, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and designating the time described when this ordinance shall be in effect, be ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Holdridge, Nebraska.
Motion to approve first reading?
So moved.
Runner.
Arm wrestle.
Aldrich, Simpson, or vice versa?
I have a motion, Aldridge, second, Simpson. Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Thank you.
I make a motion we suspend the rules.
Mike Sisson moves, we suspend rules.
I'll second.
Troy Irvine, seconds.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Final reading, ordinance 2434, an ordinance of the city of Holdridge, Nebraska, amending Holdridge Code, section 10-210E, providing for the severability of all parts hereof, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and designating the time described when this ordinance shall be in effect, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Holdridge, Nebraska.
Make a motion to approve final reading.
Gibbons,
I'll second that.
McDermott?
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
Dermott,
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Item 8 and 9 needs to be done in closed session. So it is now time for open discussion for staff and council members. Chief, you was gone last time, so you get to go
Yeah.
first time.
Just to advise you, just recently, over the weekend, I received a resignation from Carly Bliss. She's resigning as a full-time police officer due to having a baby. And that'll be effective, I think, December 8th. I talked to Dan, also talked to Mr. Rager, And we had a part-time officer years ago, or tried to have one. It didn't work out, but she is willing to stay on and work part-time, which would require her to work at least 100 hours a year. She's in favor of doing that, and we would also hire another officer, but this way, if we had a shortage, we could, for instance, right now I'm probably scheduling her for 3 days in December because we're gonna be short people because of vacations, so to save on overtime, she could come in and work that, and then we wouldn't have to pay overtime. And she's willing to try that, and so I'm letting you know that that's probably what our plans going forward.
That does not surprise me. When I saw Carly up to the hospital with the little baby, I don't think she's going to give that baby up.
I think that's probably been in a lot of our minds. But
I had half notion to offer. Well, I'll take it.
yeah,
I don't like my wife would like it.
I don't think she'll give it.
So you're thinking keep her as needed and then hire another full-time officer as well?
Yeah, and the last time we had a part-time officer, it didn't work out real well because he went to farming, and that just didn't work very well when we needed him. And we would try to give her an opportunity, like I say, looking at the schedule well in advance. We probably wouldn't call her at the last minute, so if someone got sick and we had to call somebody in, it probably wouldn't be her because it'd be hard for her to arrange babysitting, whatever. But in the future, we can usually see down the road, we know who's taking vacation, going to a school, or doing whatever, and we would try to fill her in, but the minimum is she would have to work at least 100 hours a year, which I don't think will be a problem. And then that way, she also keeps her certification, which is important because if she was just to resign after a few years, if she wanted to get back to police work, she would have to go completely through the training center all over again. And I don't think she'd want to do that. So she was, I think, very much in favor of working part-time when I offered that.
Besides filling in the gaps, and a lot of times people are sick or on vacation and stuff, but we've talked about code enforcement. And how long does it take? I know you officers go to Kearney to fan quite often with kids. How many hours does that take to take a child over there?
Well, that all depends, and we've gone up there the last few weeks numerous times. You know, well, of course, at least 30 minutes up, 30 minutes back, depending if we're interviewing 1 or 2 kids. Sometimes we're interviewing 3, sometimes we interview, then we find out we have to interview somebody else, so we come back, we have to, you know, it's kind of hard to say how much time, but it's probably a minimum of at least 3 hours of travel time going up there and back and the interview.
Anything else, Chief?
No.
That's enough. Dave?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Troy?
Nothing.
Jason?
Nothing.
Ben?
Chief, you got the new Explorer in. Did everything work out great with that, or how did it turn out?
Yeah, you know, we got a different spotlight than what we ordered, but it was actually the more expensive one, so I guess if they wanted to have that. The dome light wasn't what, I don't know if it was what, probably was spec, but we have the vehicle up getting work done. They'll be starting tomorrow, and I just told them to take it out of the other vehicle, the little light, put it up in the new one, which shouldn't be much of a problem. So I think on the most part, everything's okay.
Got doors match, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good start.
That's a good start.
That's good.
That's all I got.
Randy?
Kim, the guys are doing a great job getting the streets cleaned up. It's been years since we've been able to do this, and it really looks nice.
Good deal.
Just keep marching.
Yeah.
I think you about got it whipped, and they're really doing,
It's getting close.
it's never been this clean, I can tell you that. It looks nice.
The leaves are still falling down.
Yeah.
Well, we had a tree board meeting yesterday, and we can't really pronounce the word that John Thorburn used, but it's a condition of when there's a warm temperature, it becomes a freezing temperature, it affects trees really bad, and it doesn't allow that stem on the leaf to dry properly. So that's why we're having inconsistencies with a lot of the leaves dropping. And so we're still gonna have that, so.
No, you're making a big dent in it.
Is that it?
That's it. There.
Doug?
Along with that, they did a great job on getting the West Avenue fixed and then also down by the tracks.
Yeah, hopefully by this week we have the tracks, they poured back today, hopefully we get the brick back today. And I don't know how much more we have over on Railroad, but that should be wrapped up this week too.
Kind of lucked out the weather's worked out good.
Yes.
That always helps.
Looked like they was ready to pour that today. I don't know if they did down
Yeah,
there.
they poured it.
Did they? Super. Mike? Mary?
I was so fortunate to attend that statue unveiling at the park this morning. If you guys haven't been by, drive by. I know it's dark now. Drive by first thing tomorrow. Mr. Mayor, you did a wonderful job with your speech. Jeff Cox did
Faked
a
it.
wonderful job. You faked it. You did a nice
Thank you.
job. Nice job by Dr. Embry and the citizens that pay for that, and Jeff Cox and everybody.
Nice little crowd there.
Yeah, it was nice.
Very
That's all.
good.
Nothing.
Rod? Kim?
Today, or this week, we took another hit, chloroform hit, so we'll be chlorinating for another 90 days. It is primarily determined that it's from a downtown area someplace. DHSS was here, and Lisa sat down with Ralph, and they talked about it. And we're gonna be sending out letters to the downtown businesses on December 2nd. And Lisa's gonna go door to door and to look at all their water connections and to see if anything is out of whack or they need to be addressed or whatnot. So we're gonna be doing this with a personal touch and addressing everybody.
Having good news?
So,
90 days.
yeah, another 90 days.
You can buy a charcoal filter
Oh.
through the local water
Yeah, that's about
outfit
right.
that'll take that out of your house water, because I got to purchase one to make my wife happy.
Yeah. Might have to do the same thing.
Brian?
I don't have anything, thank you.
The city crews are all busy. Okay. Mary?
No.
She's been having auditors up here, so she's keeping pretty busy, company. Along with the Eagle dedication, several people mentioned thanks for the city to doing the 36-inch concrete stand for the Eagle and for the concrete work up there. It's pretty good, pretty cool. I'm anxious to drive by there tonight and see it in the light unveiled. And, we got a light on it.
Is it on, Brian?
There's a light on, but they said, I wasn't here last week, but we might need to do something else. See what you think, if that light's adequate.
Yeah,
They did
it's
put one, I
shining
think, on
down
the
here, and then you have
flagpole.
another light that shines on the flag.
Yeah,
Those two look great, but
but see if we need to do something else.
we may want something in the front of that Eagle.
That's what I'm hearing from a couple people, but those people hadn't looked at it at night yet either,
Yeah.
so. Let's just look and see what everybody thinks.
That's awesome to have that community, something from Mike Sugru, another local artist, very talented. So, and there's some talk, dog park again, so we'll probably hear about that in a couple months. We'll see where that goes. If nothing else, items 8 and 9, we need to go in closed
Move to
session.
go into closed session.
One second.
Doug Simpson, Mike Sisson.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbon,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Hine,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Hey guys, take care.
Thanks, PCDC.
We always do.
Coming out.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember.
I think you're more here since you went.